All right, this is a quadratic formula. They want you to take this quadratic equation and they want you to solve for x, and they want the answers to be exact. Now, all that means is they don't want decimals. That's what this means. So if it's an irrational number, they want you to make it into they want you to leave the irrational part in there. They want to excuse me, they want you to leave the square root part in there. If it's a repeating decimal, they want you to convert it to a fraction. So they don't want decimals. When it says exact, that's what that means. So now, first thing, quadratic formula, it has to be equal to 0. It is. So now we're just going to find the A is 2, the B is 3, the C is a -1. Okay. Now, in order to get full credit, you have to show that you know how to plug these numbers into the formula. So this is going to be -3 plus or minus the square root of 3b squared minus 4 times A times C, right? All of that over 2A, which is 2 over 2. Now, if you do this, you get 1 point. Even if you can't solve it, even if you mess up if it's not exact, but this would be 1 point. You've done what you needed to do with the formula. Now, to get the rest of the points, we have to make sure that this is left as a fraction. So here we go. I'm going to go to the main calculator page. I like the way I teach my students. I need them to store these numbers into the appropriate letters. So 2A, 2 is getting stored into A, 3 is getting stored into B, and a -1 is getting stored into C. Bam. And then we're just going to type in the formula. So it's going to be control divide. We're going to do a -b because that's what the formula says. Boom. And then we don't have a plus or minus key on the calculator, so we're just going to say plus, and then we're going to take the square root of b squared minus 4a. And now you have to put a multiplication between the two variables. So I'm going to put c here, and then down here is going to be 2a. And then I press enter. And the calculator, this is a CAS version, it will go ahead and simplify the radical, and it will keep the radical in there. So the answer for this, now this -3 is the B part. The square root of 17 is the b squared minus 4ac part. So this is how you would write it to get your final answer. Now, x equals, you're going to put -3. You got to put a plus or minus in front of that square root because there's going to be a plus and a minus, and then down here it is 4. This is the other point. This up here is 1 point. This down here is 2 points. Now, if this were in the 4-point section, what we just did would be worth 4 points instead of 2 points. But in this case, they just said they wanted it as exact. Now, if they said simplify the radical, that means we would have to simplify the radical. The calculator doesn't care. It'll simplify it anyway. So that's why I like this calculator for this exam, because it'll help students get the full points for the quadratic formula questions, okay? All right, that's it. That's how I teach my students, and hopefully you can do that. All right, I am going to stop, and I am going to post.